So you decided that you wanted to carry a gun concealed. You want to be a protector. Well, there's a lot that goes into that. Hopefully this video will help you. So one of the first things that you have to consider is you have to know the law. You have to know the law for your state. This is very, very important because we definitely don't want to get in trouble. Another thing that you have to think about when we're talking about the law is not only what the law says about concealed carry, but it's very, very important that you understand what your use of force law is talking about there. Here in the state of Georgia, that law is OCGA 16321. And it talks about how you can use deadly force, when you can use deadly force, and what parameters have to be met. That is extremely important. If you do a lot of traveling like I do, I have to think about what's called reciprocity. And what that means is that if I'm in Georgia and I decide to go to Florida or any other state, I need to know if that state recognizes my permit or carry permit from my home state. That's extremely important, and that's called reciprocity. The next tip that I'll give you is go to the range. Not just any range, a range that allows you to rent guns. This is extremely important. Before you ever go and buy a pistol, go rent them and shoot them. See which one is going to really work for you. The biggest reason why you want to rent a gun before you buy one is because just because you're going to carry concealed doesn't mean that you have to go with the smallest gun that's available within a particular brand that you like. What I tell people is carry the biggest gun that you can conceal. Pretty important. So the next tip that I'm gonna give you guys is always carry concealed. That is extremely important. Don't be that guy that has the Uncle Mike's holster carrying outside the waistband for everybody to see. There's a big reason why. Number one, you want the element of surprise when it comes to defending yourself and other people. If you're the guy that has the gun outside his waistband and everybody sees it, you're gonna be the first victim. So don't do that at all. That is so important. This is the deal with Uncle Mike's holsters, the universal holster that's nylon. There's a couple things. Number one, they're not sturdy at all. Number two, the little bit of retention that it offers with that normal nylon buckle is not enough. And with that nylon buckle, it's gonna take you a while to actually pull that gun out. Remember, gunfights happen in milliseconds, not seconds. So, or at least they're won and lost in milliseconds. So getting the gun out is pretty important. Having good retention is pretty important. And plus, we've all seen it where somebody's wearing that Uncle Mike's holster and the top of the holster with the gun has like this angle on it, where the grip and everything is angled away from the body. That's not good. Somebody can snatch that off of you really quickly. So it's not that I don't like Uncle Mike's products. It's just that that particular holster doesn't work good. So find you a good holster. Something else that we have to consider, and this would be the next tip, is to have a good holster. Having a good holster is everything. The holster is extremely important, but I think it's something that we overlook. Its job is mainly to, carry the gun, but it's more than just carrying the gun. It needs to have a good amount of retention, but when you need it, it needs to be able to come out quickly. I've been trying out this holster from Tier 1 Concealed. It's really, really nice. It's the absolute first appendix carry holster that I've ever owned. What I love about it is, it's Kydex. It's got the claw that helps push the grip in and all that good stuff. But what I love about it is this area right here, these buttons. It's a piece of leather, and it allows this holster to flex. Another thing that I really like about this holster is that has the option to carry an extra magazine. Always carry a spare mag. That is extremely, extremely important. The next thing that I'm going to talk to you about that's extremely important is you need a good belt. Maybe something like one of these. When you're thinking about a belt for everyday carry, you want a belt that's going to be sturdy. It's going to hold your gun up. It's going to hold your extra mag. You don't want a belt that's going to easily fold and it doesn't have a lot of rigidity and is not sturdy. So this is the belt that I use from Wardrobe Architect when I have to dress up. Another belt that I use is like this Cobra belt from Blue Alpha Gear. Really nice belt, nice and sturdy, made here in the USA. So I have a belt like this. And lastly, I have a belt that's like this one. This belt is from Aries Gear. I've had this belt the actual longest. I like this belt because it's very low profile. You can wear it every day. This is what you see in the front. And it doesn't scream, oh my God, I've got 4 guns on me. This brings up my next point, and that's have proper clothing. If you get your inside the waistband holster, you slide it inside your waistband and you realize that it's just too tight to where it's uncomfortable, one of two things. Either you're going to carry somewhere else or just go up a pant size. Same with the shirts. If you are somebody who is has a white collar job and you're wearing a suit every day, you might have to make some changes. You know, generally if I'm wearing a suit or something like that, I'll use like a holster shirt. If you have a couple different places that you carry, make sure that you're practicing in both those areas. Just make sure you're practicing from the position that you choose. Next thing I'm gonna say is get more training. I know I mentioned that, but get some more. I don't care if you already have a lot of training. Get more. Training is important. Did I mention that training was important? It's pretty important. Next thing we're going to talk about brings us to the car. One thing I'll tell you is it's a good idea to have ammunition in magazines. Ammo doesn't help you when it's in the box. Only helps you when it's in the magazine. Have ammunition and magazines strategically placed throughout the car. So, front driver's door. Definitely want to keep magazines in there, AR and pistol. I'd recommend that you, at a minimum, have ammunition in your driver's door, but it might be a good idea to have it in the passenger door and maybe even the trunk. You never know where you're going to be fighting from. Keep a gun on you at all times. There is no such thing as, hey, I'm just running around the corner, I don't need the gun. The gun needs to stay on you. At all times, the gun is on you. At all times. You leave the house, put the gun on. We don't have a crystal ball that we can look into and know, hey, today some shit's gonna go down. So you probably wanted to keep it on you. Extremely important. Keep the gun on you. We don't know when this stuff's gonna go down, so you might wanna have it. All right, so, dang. That kind of brings me to my next point, and that's guns in the car. Now, first off, the gun that's on my body stays on my body. I don't unholster it off of my body and then put it in another holster in the car. If you want a gun in the car, it needs to be a dedicated gun that's in the car. But I'd highly recommend having some way of securing that gun. There's a good company that's here local to me, Conceal Pro Georgia. Highly recommend them. Then that way, if somebody steals your car and breaks into the car, they can't get the gun out. When I'm in the car, the gun's still inside the waistband. I still have easy access to it. Completely understand why those guys are taking the gun off and putting it in a different holster, but I'm not a huge proponent of that. I try to stay as consistent as possible, meaning the gun is always in the same place all the time. That stuff is kind of important. Off to Tier Defense Industries, get some rifle work done. Almost forgot, gotta go by the post office, track down these packages. Yes! Got him. Awesome. Tier Defense Industries, now we can be on the way. Now. Yeah, hang
People
on,
don't carry every damn day.
Hey, here. It's clean. This is the Coleon's gun, right?
Yeah.
Coleon Noir's gun. Pretty sick. All right, so next pro tip. Have good carry ammo. We are a huge proponent of Liberty Civil Defense. Reason why I carry it is because of how well it performs when passing through a medium. So steel car doors, drywall, especially windshields, maintains a very nice flat trajectory. With the Liberty Civil Defense, if it's 9mm, it's a 50 grain bullet, but it's traveling at 2,000 feet per second. Check them out. All right, guys, so this brings up the next point, and that's don't finger bang your freaking gun. It's there. Now, I guess, you know, when you leave the house, when you set it up, you know, and in the beginning, especially carrying appendix, it's going to take a week or two before you get used to it, just being in this region. But once you find a good spot, put it there and just let it stay there. Don't mess with it, because when you start messing around with the gun, of course, people can see you doing it, but then you'll start getting it to where like the shirt will get hung behind it, and now you're just, you know, asking for a ton of attention. So don't mess with it. All right, next tip. Be careful about the trigger modifications that you're making to your pistols. Be very careful, especially if you're carrying appendix. Last thing you need is for you to have a 2-pound trigger in this Glock and it's pointing at you, and you guys know the end or the rest of that. So be careful with the mods. Yeah, hopefully you guys can understand that. You carry a gun every day, you need to understand the responsibility of it. When you're out moving around, doing your thing, running your errands, doing all that kind of stuff, if something goes down and you pull that gun out, you have effectively taken everybody's lives into your hands. That responsibility is on your shoulders. And this kind of ties into the next tip. It's all about mindset. Absolutely, you need to get a ton of training. But make sure that you're getting training from a good instructor that also understands the mindset portion of what we're doing. None of that stuff really helps. And I'm talking about training and all the skill and knowing how to fight from cover and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is good. But if you don't have mindset to go with it, you might as well just leave that gun at home. You have to have mindset. Mindset is by far the most important part of being a defensive man, or being somebody who's a protector, the sheepdog, etc. Get the mindset. The mindset is what's going to keep you alive. Mindset is what'll make it to where when you're in that situation, when somebody's trying to cause others great bodily harm or death, that you'll be able to pull the gun out. Mindset will make it to where training is a priority. Mindset will make it to where, you know, the maintenance of your firearm and just this entire thing is extremely important to you. Mindset is everything. Make sure you get you a dose of it. Seriously. Guys, I just wanted to end this video by saying I really hope that this helped you guys out a lot. A lot of thought went into this. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, found it on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. You can check out information on our training on our website, provectusgroup.org. We're on all social media platforms at Provectus Group, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Guys, thank you again so much for watching this vid. It means a lot to me. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And remember, in all that you do, be unstoppable.